Hey everybody, we're back under the covers with Charlie and
Nick.
Nick. There you go, that's your name.
Nick.
Welcome
Happy
back
Valentine's
to
Day.
Happy Valentine's Day. Gosh, it's season of love.
Season of love. Man, oh man. I've got to say I'm not a very good Valentine's guy. Um
No?
I didn't
Do you
I
have
didn't
a
get it.
Valentine at least?
I do. It's your
Nice.
sister.
Oh yeah, that's right. I'm glad you answered that. That was a test. You passed.
It was a test. Whew. Dodged a bullet there. I mean, she's not just my breeding companion, she's my best friend.
Oh God.
So, I don't know where
Quit
that
talking
came
about
from.
raw dog and my sister.
Wow. We went hard in the paint right in the beginning of this one, didn't we?
Oh God. Well, it is Valentine's Day. There's that special something in the air. Just gets us all randy, I guess.
Yes.
Do we need to start over?
No. No, we're gonna trudge right through this. This is like a first date. It's awkward and sexual all at the same time, you know? So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, yeah,
So
we're Under the Covers podcast. We're just two guys who like music and we decided to start this for any of you new listeners. We'd pick a song and then we pick a cover version of that song and we
raw dog and your sister. I'm sorry.
you don't have
I
to
was
bring
trying to
that up again.
well, I didn't bring it up. You brought it up.
No, I said again. Yeah, yeah. I kind of
Uh,
regret saying that.
uh, yeah. You should wash your mouth out with soap. I'm
Might
sure
need
this
to.
episode's going to go into some pretty dark areas.
Speaking of soap, I fixed my bathroom up here last weekend, so now
Oh,
I
look
can
at you
use
go.
the toilet. Yeah, it's pretty great. No more leaks.
Nice, nice, nice.
But
So yeah, we're just two dudes doing a podcast. Uh how do we do this? We take a popular song, something that everybody pretty much knows, and compare it to a cover version of that same song. We contrast, we tell them what we like and don't like, and then at the end we pick which is our favorite. Very simple premise.
yeah, and when
Uh,
we pick, what happens? We hit
we have the
the
gong
gong
of
of decision.
decision.
I got a surprise
Let it
for you,
ring.
brother.
Oh,
Got
we're
a
gonna do it
surprise
right
for
now?
you.
No.
No, check this
Oh.
out. An actual gong of decision.
Dude.
Now it's not just me banging my beer on my mic stand on accident. So
We are I tell you, man, we are a progressive podcast here. Spare no expense. I mean, it must be pretty pricey to get a gong of decision that's at
yeah,
least, 3-4 inches diameter.
I think it's like yeah, probably 4 or 5. But
And
then I literally used my Cricut to make I used our font and everything.
nice.
Yeah.
And the folks that didn't can't see this. This is a little tabletop gong. It's not. I wouldn't even call it a cymbal. It's definitely a gong. It says gong of decision on it, not indecision.
Yeah.
Uh, and then and then if that wasn't enough, I didn't realize you had some sort of mallet that was about the half the size of a finger. Um,
It came with it. Added value.
it looks like one of those things in those kid xylophones, or the kid little drum thing, the little tyke's drum.
Yeah.
You can make some racket with that.
Yeah. I also just so you know, just I bought one and it has like dragons and shit on it because I thought it was cool. And then I was like, no, I should put Gong a decision on it, so I had to put it on the back. Hey,
Yeah,
but it
oh yeah.
works.
Well, because you're going to be ringing the front so much, the dragons are eventually going to wear off.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that on the back. You don't hit the back of a cymbal unless you're
I,
near pert.
I just did. That's his back. I wonder what the front sounds like. Oh, pretty much the same. All right,
Could
sorry.
run, could run that through auto tune.
Yeah, yeah. Tested out the auto tune tonight during our test recording. It sounds pretty darn cool.
So yeah, that's so now that we got weirdness out of the way, we barely explain what we do around here.
I
This
do
week,
have.
oh, go ahead.
I know, and I know it's Valentine's Day. We haven't gotten into the song yet, and that's what
No, that's fine. We
the people come here to listen to. But I have some big news for you that I've been dying to share with you, but I wanted to wait till it was live.
nice.
We are fucking international now.
What?
We have listeners in Israel, New Zealand, and wait for it, Sweden.
Oh my god. This is
We
fuck the meatballs.
you gotta be careful with the anti-Sweden Swedish meatball talk.
Well, at least do they allow the word slut there?
Probably.
Okay. By the way, I forgot what I was just looking at. But IKEA. Something at IKEA, and then it was like come in and have our meatballs, and I was like, what the fuck do they have meatballs there? They're Swedish meatballs. I didn't. They must be pretty good.
It's a Swedish company.
I know I didn't put all that together, and I didn't understand why they had meatballs. And then but finally, like was driving down the road and was like, oh, I get it. They're Swedish meatballs. It's coming all back around. I'm gonna have to have these
Oh,
things sooner or later.
yeah, you had a light bulb moment there. But
Yeah.
yeah, we also talked about New Zealand once, about the Kiwis. So it's like we just keep talking about other countries and people are just going to listen.
Let's see here. I, yeah, we should keep talking about other countries then and just keep spreading the word.
Just
It's like,
keep spread. I mean, it's probably David Grohl going to these countries on tour, and then he listens to our podcast while he's there. So then the Spotify analytics show a listener in that country. That's
so
got to
I
be
was
it.
actually I've been traveling a lot lately to trade shows, and I had this weird ass dream that David Grohl appeared on our podcast and was talking, and then he just started chastising me about calling him David, like how he hated it. And so I woke up in like a sweaty, nervous wreck, like being like, what if he doesn't like being called David Grohl? Like, and so I, this is a very personal podcast to me. I mean, and I don't just leave it here on the table. And after the gong, the decision happens, it stays with me.
Well, I mean, like I said last episode, I've been tagging him, so I definitely tagged him in our Bohemian Rhapsody episode. So
Nice. He's probably like, how do I get these things untagged? Send legal on these guys. I think they're breaking some sort of copyright laws.
oh well, yeah, we've been talking for 8 minutes and haven't talked about the song yet. So I know I rudely interrupted you,
No, it's
um, but
well,
uh,
tis the season, right? Of what this song is all about, right?
it is, it is.
It's what we all want for Valentine's Day. We all want sex. We
Oh
all
yeah.
want candy. So
Oh
sex
yeah.
and candy.
Sex and Candy by Marcy Playground.
Yeah. And covered by the I don't know if it's the
No, I don't think it's the
no, it's not the it's just Maroon 5, which is a
Mar-
weird ass name.
Maroon 5.
Yeah.
Must be their
So
favorite color or something.
and there's
Adam
probably five
Levine.
of them in the band. Actually, I talk about this a little later. I think I got some notes on how this happened, but
Ah,
supposedly only Billy Joel knows their real reason why they are called Maroon 5.
Billy Joel. I'm surprised he even knows who the band is. I'm kidding. They're huge.
well, when he told the story on Howard Stern, he didn't think that Billy Joel knew who they were either because he was still in his drinking days. So it might have
who
been just a fluky deal.
who was in his drinking days?
Billy Joel.
Oh, I didn't realize. I thought he was like straight edge.
No, dude, he like crashed like 4 cars in Long Island, like in 4 consecutive days, and was like, maybe I should not drink quite as much.
Okay.
I
Okay.
think. You know what? We'll get our legal and research team on it.
Well, I mean, he does have a song called "Only the Good Die Young," and he's not young, and so he's obviously proven that song truthfully.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, but Sex and Candy, Marcy Playground
Yeah, yeah,
from 1997. Good old
yeah.
years.
That was the year I graduated high school.
Nice.
Um, you know, I was looking up songs that were popular in 1997, and here are some gems from the Wayback Machine. Everlong from our good friend David Grohl. Um, Song 2 from
Oh,
Blur, which
Blur,
is
they
nobody knows that that's what the name of that song is called. It should be called
woo.
Woohoo.
That song gets played at like so many sports events. They still make so much money off that song.
Oh, I bet. I bet. Walking on the Sun by Smash Mouth, a good friend
Oh,
Smash Mouth. Semi Charmed Life, Three Eye Blind, which
that's a
is
good one.
it is. It's a song about drug addiction, but it sounds all happy. It's like Bop, which came out in the same year.
Oh, that's a banger.
It is a banger. Bittersweet Symphony, that big rip-off song because they
Yep.
plagiarized basically the whole entire part of it, but it's a pretty damn good song by the Verve. Speaking of the word Verve, the Freshman from the Verve Pipe.
Uh-huh. Nice.
Yeah,
Local band to where we're from.
yeah. Hopefully we can talk about the Verve Pipe some other time because
Yeah, that'd be cool.
we've had some good times with them. Fly, Sugar Ray.
Mm, that song does not hold up.
No, it doesn't.
Last time I was
Uh,
driving to your place, I had some 90s playlist going on and that song came on. I was so excited. Like I'm just driving by myself and I was like, "Oh, god, I haven't heard this song in like who knows how long, 10 years." And I got about halfway through and I was like, "Nope, I'm done." I apologize, Sugar Ray, but
but
not
wasn't
for me.
Sugar Ray like amazing at Jeopardy, like Rock and Roll Jeopardy? Wasn't he like a savant? Knew like
Oh,
all this rock and roll stuff.
that's news to me. But hey, when I
Yeah,
mean he's a rock and roller, so
yeah. So yeah, you know what I did notice though is a lot of these songs, these bands, most of them. I mean, the Freshmen, or excuse me, Verve Pipe and Sugar Ray are probably not this, but they had more than one hit, and Marcy Playground was is certifiably a one hit wonder, right?
yeah. Yeah. I mean, I remember buying this album because that song was so cool. And that's, what you did as a teenager. You'd go to Meyer and, spend your 12 to $15 on a CD.
Right?
And, because, they were in those big old plastic cases, so you couldn't steal them anymore. So yeah, I definitely bought this album. Um, it's decent. I remember some of the songs. Some of them still come up on some of my Spotify like playlists.
Uh
The
huh.
the ones they generate for you based
Yeah.
off of other music. There's a couple that actually pop up more than Sex and Candy, which surprises me.
Really?
Yeah, like one of them is like I think it's called Saint Joe and the School Bus. I
Hmm.
think that might be one of them. It's good,
Nice.
but
Nice.
yeah, definitely not a hit like Sex and Candy.
The album I think is pretty solid. I listened to it this week. Um, it's sort of wide ranging. There's a lot
Hmm.
of it's a very wide album. It reminds me kind of the Vines, but not as heavy. But there's
Yeah, I see
sort of
that.
acoustical, slower songs. There's sort of some soulful songs.
Yeah,
Um,
kind of some grungy psych rock, like psychedelic almost
yeah,
feel to it. Yeah.
yeah. Um, and the John Wozniak that was sort of the founder, main dude. He was kind of into a wide range of music. I mean, his influences, spanned anybody from Sid Barrett to Pink Floyd to, you know, um, well, shit. I mean, who's the dude that does Van Morrison?
Mm. I thought you were gonna say
So
David Grohl.
and David Grohl. I don't know, David. Yeah, David Grohl.
I mean, I mean, yeah, I do think Nirvana was probably an influence. So
Yes, this song sounds like it. It sounds like a Nirvana song to me,
yeah, I can see that.
and I think Curtis Cobain had already killed himself before the song became popular, so I don't think it was a Nirvana song.
No, yeah, 1997. When did Kurt Curtis go? Is that like 94, 95?
Yeah, let's call it that.
Okay.
Yeah. So, um, this John Wozniak, I guess I don't know if that's how you say his name or not. Wozniak. Yeah, I'm gonna call it that. His first record was Zog Bog Bean from the Marcy Playground. That was the title of it.
Wow. That brings me back to some of that Death Cab stuff, the Big Dog Duty Band or whatever it was
Yeah,
called.
Big Dog Doodah Band. Yeah. Can't imagine why the Zog Bog Bean from Marcy Playground band didn't make it.
Yeah. Had to just shorten it to Marcy Playground.
Right. Right.
Um, which I read was from his elementary school. Was like a
Yeah.
Marcy community school or something like that in Minneapolis, home of Prince.
So
Rest in peace, Prince.
rest in peace. Yeah, we need a noise for rest in peace.
All right, we'll get that on the soundboard. We'll have to discuss what it's going to sound like because my idea of a rest in peace sound might be way different than yours.
Well, I was thinking it would be cool to have the sound that they do in The Good and the Bad and the Ugly. The ah wah wah wah. That sounds like a death sound to me. I'm not sure why.
I'll see if that's not unlicensed. I'll see if that's unlicensed and we can use it.
So, Sex and Candy. This brought me down a weird ass rabbit hole. Because I was reading on Wikipedia, like where'd this all come from. And this is quote in the late 1980s when John Wozniak, who had yet started Marcy Playground or not yet started Marcy Playground, was in his girlfriend's dormitory at Bryn Mawr College, where his father taught. While he and his girlfriend were having sex in her dorm room, another young woman walked
Nice.
in following coitus interruptus. She said the room smelled like sex and candy, and a phrase that stuck in Wozniak's head as weird and cool. Now, that sounds like the great backstory. But the thing is as you know, Wikipedia has all these like links to other things,
Mm-hmm.
and coitus interruptus has its own link to its own page. Okay, now I'm not the smartest guy in the room. Okay, I thought coitus interruptus was like when you're having sex, like fucking Randy Savage or the Kool-Aid Man comes in and you're like, ah, that sounds like coitus interruptus. But I didn't know
Mm-hmm.
that was like the proper term for like early withdrawal or
Oh, so
pull
it's
and pray,
okay.
splash and dash, toaster strudel, abdominal marinating, sauce on the side. I didn't know that that's what that meant.
Half of those were new terms to me. I'm gonna Google these later in a
Oh,
private browser, of course. But goddamn, I didn't know there
yeah,
were so many terms for it.
yeah. So
So
yeah,
that's like the Latin phrase for pull
yeah,
and pray, basically.
and there's literally a whole Wikipedia page on this, and then so I got done reading all that because I mean you gotta read it. I mean, then at the end there's like other links, like other places you can go. And there's other words that I never heard. These coitus reservatus, which is like
You can Google pronunciation of words if you
nah,
want to put
nah.
some work into it.
I'm, I'm, I'm plenty bears deep, but that's sort of like edging, I guess, where you're not
Mm-hmm.
gonna breed. Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's coitus saxonius onicus, which is diverting the, the stuff into your bladder, which sounds like an
Oh God,
infection or some sort of bad situation
yeah, that
going on
sounds
there.
painful.
Yeah, at that point I was like,
I
you know
mean,
what,
you
I don't
think about
I'm
trying to
done.
stop just a regular pee,
Yeah,
like how not cool that is.
I mean I'm just thinking like you're in the situation, right? You're all sweaty, you're all, and then you got to like put a clothespin or do whatever you're doing there to divert this. I mean, that's not very sexy.
No,
That's
it's yeah, like you're right. It sounds like an infection
that's
waiting to happen.
that's when you give her some candy, say suck on this, bitch, while you figure out what you're doing here, right?
Yeah, yeah, I guess so.
So back to the song.
Yeah, yeah. Back to the song. Huh.
uh, this song became very popular, and this John dude sold the rights to the song for 1.75 million. And he said that if it ever got up to that, it was actually 1 million for the song, and then $750,000 for his next record. So dude made out pretty good.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Who do you sell the rights to?
I don't know.
Paul McCartney?
Probably. I know he's in that sort of business.
Speaking of making money, before we get too much further, should we make some money?
Cha-ching! We're gonna make some money.
Okay.
Wah, wah, wah.
Maybe we should just record you doing that.
That's what I was
just.
We should do it on the auto-tune. We got to figure out the auto-tune.
Oh, yes. Yes, we'll do that, and then that'll be our. Maybe we'll both be in different keys on the auto-tune and do that, and so it's really grating for our listeners.
I have a feeling this episode's going in the way the Taylor Swift episode's going to go. You know, it's going to be the first two banned.
But yeah, let's get paid before we get too further into the song, because we do have a sponsor tonight.
Nice.
So, sorry for that. Tonight's episode is brought to you by Sensual Sweets. I can't look at the screen. Get ready to tantalize your taste buds with the irresistible allure of Sensual Sweets. We have 3 enticing flavors to help you climax. First,
flavors.
Our velvet vanilla is a symphony of smoothness that caresses your senses while he caresses something else. Sultry strawberry is a burst of passion in every bite, and it will have you bursting all night long.
Bursting.
And don't forget about midnight mocha, the dark and indulgent flavor that will leave you craving for more.
I like mocha.
Get your rocks off tonight with our Sensual Sweets.
Sensual Sweets. I ad-libbed there.
I love it. That was perfect. I think they're going to love it too.
Oh my gosh.
Pay us a little extra for that, because they only paid us for one person reading copy, so.
I can't stand up. I mean, but it was quite the commercial.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a Valentine's episode, so they came along, and I mean, about candy and sex. So.
Oh yeah. And I mean, dude, you got the dude from Maroon 5 coming up. I mean, what's hotter than that?
Not much.
Girls are going to be dropping their panties from listening to this episode for sure.
Oh yeah. Better not be walking around. You'll leave a snail trail.
Oh my gosh.
Shit, why did I say that?
I love it. Talk about trigger words. So, back to the song.
It did go platinum.
It did.
Yeah, over 1 million copies sold. Oh, the record did.
Nice.
Mainly because of this song. But
Well, look at that dude go.
Yeah. So we got a platinum record, made $1.7 million from a song. That's not bad. And
Yeah.
I think they're still doing stuff. I mean, there's. I don't know. You know what did surprise me though, that I noticed when I was listening to this song on Spotify, was that they still have 2 million monthly listeners.
Really?
So that means at least 2 million unique listeners listen to at least probably Sex and Candy once per month.
Man, I guess us and them have a lot in common, huh?
I know.
I wonder how many people from Sweden they have listening to them.
Probably none, because they're not as cool as us.
They're not as cool as us. Doing commercials like that last one.
Oh my gosh, I was trying to, I had to practice it earlier, but man, I was trying not to see, but in my peripheral vision, I could just see you start cracking up laughing.
Well,
Could not hold it together.
I was wondering what you were playing with over there. I'm like, dude, I know this is a Valentine's episode, and then the music started. I'm like, oh shit.
Oh, that was good stuff.
But Ding Dong Cherries or whatever you got there are they're loving this. They're loving this extra promotion.
Yeah, Sensual Sweets.
Sensual Sweets, not
Ding Dong Cherries.
Sorry, Sensual Sweets.
So speaking of cover songs and Marcy Playground, they have an album. It's kind of like a compilation album with B-sides and different things, and they have a couple covers on there. Um, Procol Harum's "Whiter Shade of Pale."
Oh, I love that song. It's like the
Yeah,
best wedding song of all time.
and they actually do a really good job on it. I don't say actually like, oh, they're not a good band, because they are, but it's 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 enjoyable. And then they have "The Needle and the Damage Done"
Wow.
by Neil Young. Both of them are definitely worth a listen.
Nice.
Oh, I did write the name down. As the album is "Lunch, Recess, and Detention."
I feel like that they have a lot of school references and things in their titles and songs.
Yeah,
So
just like that St. Joe and the School Bus.
yeah,
Like I,
school bus.
yeah,
Sherry Fraser, by the way, was his girlfriend.
mm,
Um,
that's a good song.
yeah, they do. They must really like their old schools.
Yeah. Well, I think so. That
So
John
let's
Wozniak, he formed the band in New York. Like I think after he moved to college, but who knows? Maybe they just missed school.
yeah. Did you happen to look at the video for this?
Oh
Um,
yeah, yeah. I watched the video recently, and I remember it from back in the '90s. Very trippy and weird. Not not a huge fan of the whole spider with his just head sticking out of the ground. I'm like, yeah, that's a big spider,
I
and
was
your
like,
head's just exposed.
yeah. So for those that haven't seen it, it's sort of like Nightmare Before Christmas kind of looking set thing, or Beetlejuice kind of looking set
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, like a what's his name? Tim
Uh,
Burton. Tim
Tim
Burton
Burton.
esque. Yeah, it's like
And
a Alice in Wonderland meets
yeah,
Beetlejuice meets Nightmare Before Christmas.
and there's this ever-present spider kind of going at the lead singer's head because this lead singer's kind of underground, but his there's a little cutout for his head. Um, then there's a couple other dudes that show up and mess around with a dresser. And
Yeah.
there's a shoe coming from a doorway.
Oh, and then them pulling wires out from the wall. I
Which
like that effect.
I,
That,
I was in my notes. I was like, that feels very rewarding. Like I would
yes.
like to do that.
I
Like
was thinking the exact same thing. Like that would be so fun to do. Like just
if
pull wires out of drywall.
if there's any reason you should watch this video, it's for the effect that I would love to do that. That felt like it'd be great. It's
Hmm.
like peeling like a big piece of wallpaper off, but a piece of wire coming out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. So should we get into this song? Should we listen to it?
Yeah. Yeah, let's give it a listen, and then and then we'll come back and talk to it. How long is the song? Just a few
So
minutes?
it's a short song, 2 minutes and 53 seconds on the self-titled album, and there's 227.7 million plays of this song. So
Nice.
yeah, you're gonna hear a little ditty because we can't play the song. Otherwise, we get calls from lawyers, and especially now that we're playing in Sweden, I'm sure that they have some real high-powered lawyers.
Yeah.
Um, and we don't need any more of that because we're already dealing with David Grohl's folks. So, so enjoy Sex and Candy. We'll see you here in about 2 minutes and some seconds.
Sounds good. All right. That's a fun song.
It's so for me, it's not fun. but it's like super contained.
Okay.
You think it's gonna be like you think it's gonna go and open up a little bit more, but it never kind of does. But that's part of the like gig, you know?
Mm-hmm. And for me, I think the fun part of it is definitely the memories and nostalgia it brings back to being a teenager and just that style of music and I think part of that charm, like you said about it just feeling so contained and like it's not. It feels like it could go many more places. It doesn't, and
Hmm.
it almost makes it comfortable
Yeah,
and yeah. And I love the way he plays the guitar with his when he's singing "I Smell Sex and Candy," and it's just that. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah,
yeah,
I
it's a
don't
good
know.
riff,
Yeah.
and it's a simple riff. I mean, it's only 6 notes or so, but um, it's interesting because the very first part of the song, like right from the very beginning, it's all downward facing chords, right? Or all the chords go down, and it feels like it's going to be really depressing. Like you feel like you're, oh man, this is going to be a really downer of a song.
Mm-hmm.
But when it says "I smell sex and candy" and it starts to kind of open up and be a little happier, like with the full, there's a D and an A, and the way the chords go a little more upbeat. Um, it's like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. But his voice is he's almost talking. It's not even.
Mm-hmm.
I know he's singing, and it's definitely notes, but it's interesting how well he's just kind of delivering the vocals.
Yeah. Yeah, and to your point of, starting out depressing, I mean, he's talking about hanging around downtown by himself.
Yeah,
It's basically like it's like, oh man, this is going to be a bummer. And
right.
then he says the word sex. You're like, oh, okay, okay,
Oh,
this is a little
I'm
better.
listening
And
now.
then he says candy, and you're like, God damn.
I
Oh,
like
oh, I'm
sex.
in. I'm in. I buy
Check,
in.
check, check. Oh, caffeine. Mm-hmm. Yeah, dig it.
Dig it. Dig it. Yeah.
Some of it, I mean, in hindsight, being 25 years later, it feels a little superficial at times. That's one thing I'll say, and but again, it still holds up. And the Houston Press at one time had said it refuses to rock, and yet it refuses to go away, which is sort of true. I mean, it doesn't rock, but you turn on any alternative rock station or even an adult contemporary now, you're going to hear it sooner or later.
Yeah.
You know what? It also sounds kind of like Beck. I can see a little Beck influence there too.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I see that.
But yeah, so yeah, I mean, God, it was huge. That song you couldn't get away from it in '97,
Mm-hmm.
and it was everywhere. And it
Yeah.
starts out really like abruptly, like you get like there's no. I think it just starts out with downtown, like
Yeah. I think it just starts out hanging
hang,
around
yeah,
downtown by oh, can't sing it too much because I sound just like him, so might get
yeah.
flagged.
I mean, just thinking a concert. I mean, I mean, how do they do that? They're like, and a one, and a two, and a. Nope, can't do that. You just got to come in and do it. I'm sure bands do that. And a one, and a two. If I was in a band, I'd do that.
Or maybe they got some guy off stage. They're going 5, 4, 3. That's what you
uh,
start. Sorry
the Wayne.
for the non-viewers, because yeah,
Oh, you should have seen that shit.
we had
It
a
was
Wayne's World reference again.
it was wicked. But then in 2014, on their album V,
5.
ah,
Yeah, it looks like a V because it is a V. But I
yeah,
googled it. I made sure it was a Roman numeral and not just V. I
it is.
literally did. I didn't want to sound like an idiot.
I
Like, yeah, it's that album Pink V. Pink
I
V.
can I can see you blowing Google's mind as you write in Maroon 5 and is their fifth album V.
Oh, it was their
Google's.
fifth album. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know what album it was.
Oh, I was gonna say,
Maybe I'm
it,
assuming.
come full circle. It's Maroon 5. It's their fifth album. Why not just name it V
Yeah,
or 5?
Well, it was in 2000. I wonder if it is. I think I got to do a little searching while we go there.
Okay. Well, you
But
search Adam Levine, lead singer. He's a looker, isn't he?
oh my gosh, Ex- except for the throat tattoo, I can't get
Oh,
past it. Throat tattoos freak me out. Like that's what I mean. How's that happen? Like what? I mean, who gets a throat tattoo?
I don't know.
Well, Adam Levine does.
Yeah.
I,
Um.
it's a butterfly. I mean, you got to be pretty ballsy. First of all, he's a good looking dude. I mean, for him to be like, yeah, I'm going to start screwing my body up by putting a throat tattoo. I love tattoos, just not a throat tattoo.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you got to have a certain lifestyle, and like, I mean, definitely in your career or even office jobs, you don't necessarily want a throat tattoo. But when you're a sexy man who's just taking off his clothes for concerts and whatnot, I
Dude takes his
assume
clothes off all the
I
time.
assume he just does concerts shirtless because if you have a body like that, you have to.
Yeah. They did the 2019 Super Bowl 53. I was like, I gotta go check this out, see what Maroon 5 is all about. He started out in like a fully clothed like jacket thing, like down to the ground.
Hmm.
Guess what he ended up with?
Just a thong.
and, and some pants. Probably not even a thong. He
Mm.
probably had nothing going on under there. He probably had sex and candy going on under those pants.
Uh, well, what my reference to just a thong, it was bringing me back to memories of seeing Tool at Lollapalooza back in, I think it was '97,
Nice.
when they played at Pine Knob here in Michigan. Maynard came out dressed as a woman, and
Nice.
then by the end of the show, he was literally just wearing a thong because Maynard is Maynard.
Attaboy.
But no, I'm sure I saw that Super Bowl performance, but it does not stick in my memory.
Yeah, it's okay. So he basically it's the band on a big M that happens to be maroon in color.
Makes sense.
There's a couple songs or a song and a half, and then SpongeBob shows up,
Like the
and
SquarePants guy.
yeah, like literally he stops a guitar solo in its tracks, and then suddenly it flashes to SpongeBob. Can't make this shit up, and it says something about I don't know whatever
Who
it
lives in a
was.
pineapple under a sea?
And then they show the stadium, the inside of the stadium, and there's these fake graphics of asteroids.
Okay.
And then one of the asteroids hits the stage, and there's like a asteroid divot. What's that called?
Uh, uh, uh,
Uh, it's,
oh, you're putting me on the spot here. I can't remember.
we're just
Oh,
gonna call it asteroid divot. Hey, if you guys know what that word is, put it in the comments. And then this Travis Scott comes out, and then he raps a little bit. Then Big Boy comes out, and then the weirdest thing is so they're doing the moves like Jagger, and that's when he rips off his shirt. Um,
mm,
and then the weirdest thing is I mean that's the last song. I mean you're not getting bigger than moves like Jagger. But what happens is at the end of that song, somebody gives him a guitar just for like the last beat, like duh, and he had a guitar for one note. Like, and I'm like, he probably could have done without the guitar. I mean,
that's funny. That I would think I would remember SpongeBob playing with Maroon 5.
but it's not like he played with them. It was like it was just it's like we interrupt the program and it's just SpongeBob. And I'm like, it made my head hurt. Like, yeah,
Huh. Interesting.
yeah. But
Um.
Maroon Five's always been sort of rock, sort of pop, sort
Hmm.
of soul. They've been all over the place. But speaking of moves like Jagger, um, that is listed as the second most downloaded song of all time.
Wow.
Yeah, that's quite.
I don't even think that's one of their better ones, to be honest.
I I like it just because
I mean,
I do have moves like Jagger. I mean,
it's
I hate to
I
toot my own horn.
yeah. I always thought it was moves like Jaeger.
I got moves like Jagger when I'm drinking Jaeger. Do you
Oh,
know? Do you have any idea what the number one downloaded song of all time would be?
um, Not not from Maroon 5 or just in general?
No, from this is forever. This is all time. This
O-
is
Okay, now are we talking downloaded illegally, legally, or what?
I don't know. It's just
Probably
what
legally.
it said what it said online, which is must be true.
All right.
I'll give you a hit. It's your
Okay.
former employer. LMAFO?
Oh, shots?
No, it's
Oh,
Party Rock Anthem.
okay. Party Rock. Okay, nice.
Huh?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I forgot Jay worked with them. Shout out to Jay, American gymnast, number one. If you need gymnastics equipment. Oh, well, now I should shout out my current employer. Check out this cool koozie. Got our
Whoa.
finisher turkey logo on it. We're Blocker
Wow.
Outdoors.
Look at this.
Fancy.
We're advertising our own companies now, not just, you know, Betty Boop's Booby
Well,
Pops or
well,
something.
hopefully
What is it?
eventually sensual sweets.
Okay.
Yeah, Betty Boop's Boopy Bops.
I don't know what it is. I don't know.
Uh,
So,
yeah, no.
so back to the song. Where were we?
We were just talking about the most downloaded song, but I'm actually most familiar with Maroon 5's first album,
Mm-hmm.
Songs About Jane.
Songs about Jane.
Yeah, that one's got a lot of hits on it.
Yeah, this love, she will be loved. Is there any more? I think there's probably a couple more,
Um,
but
yeah,
it was a cool cover. That was a good cover of an album.
yeah, it was sexy and hippie-ish and cool art. And apparently, every song on it was because Jane was his high school sweetheart, and so every song about it had a reference to his girlfriend
Wow.
or ex. I don't know if they were ex at the time of the recording, but yeah, it was a good album. Um, yeah, I forget. I thought I took notes on it, but since it got super popular, he's recorded with a bunch of famous people too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like I think that Moves with Jagger is with some famous person, and
Nice.
yeah, I should have taken better notes because
so,
now I don't remember who it was. I think it was like
so
Cardi B and
nice.
that Travis Barker you mentioned. Every time I hear his name, wait, is that his name?
Travis Scott. Travis
Travis Scott.
Barker is
Every
the
time I
drummer
think of
from,
Travis Scott, I think of Travis Barker, who's the
yeah,
drummer from Blink 182.
yeah.
And
I
I'm
had to
like,
look that up too.
yeah, I was
Because
like, Travis Barker doesn't rap, but I don't know why.
he only plays drums. And he also has a throat tattoo.
He does. He doesn't wear an eye patch though,
Eye
so he's
patches.
not cool in my book.
So, so Maroon 5, they decided to just I have no idea why they did this song. They were just what? Hey, we found a one hit wonder. We want to do this song. I don't know. Do you know any of this
Yeah.
backstory?
No, no, I didn't do much research on the backstory, but it is um yeah, they Maroon 5'd it up.
Yeah, yeah, they
Um
did. They
which
did.
is to say they sexified it.
Se- se- That's a Clarence Carter reference, isn't
Throwback.
it? Yeah, yeah. So yes, the song is significantly longer at 424 rather than the 253. But there's a little caveat to that. I'm not going to be a spoiler there.
I
Um,
think I know what you're referencing.
and there's 35 million plays on this. So 227 million on Marcy Playground. I mean, 35 million back in the day would have been a legit hit. So they're definitely you know making sex and candy off of this still. So
Yeah, but I'm surprised it's a lot less, to be honest. I didn't look at those numbers, but I'm surprised it's I know Marcy's Playground version has been around 20 years longer, but
yeah, I
or
mean yeah,
10, whatever.
and this song was pretty critically acclaimed. If you look this album up or this song, almost all reviewers were. Let me say this: a significant amount of them were like, "Man, they did a hell of a job at this song." They really liked it. Was a little more pure uh, as a song, not so poppy,
Hmm.
definitely soulful. And so maybe we should. Are you good with giving it a listen,
Yeah,
or give?
yeah. Let's
So,
give it a listen.
so as we said before, you're gonna hear a little ditty, see a little dance, and make love tonight. Make. I'm just kidding. We'll just listen to this.
But you can make love if you want. Just
You
to
can
have,
make love.
just
You
don't
can.
have what do they call it? Coitus interruptus? Because
Coitus.
that would be a bummer.
I think you need to look up the definition of coitus interruptus because,
Because it's not a bummer. Oh
well,
wait, no,
no, I
you
mean,
said it's like a pull and pray thing. So
yeah, yeah.
you okay?
Like I said, I thought it was like the Kool Aid Man bust in, right? Like would be like,
Yeah,
that sucks.
yeah.
Well, I
That's what
mean,
I'm picturing. All right, let's listen to this
let's just,
song. We'll be back.
yeah, yeah. All right, fuck that. I'm done.
Got about 24 seconds left of. Ooh, yeah, yeah. Welcome
Oh,
back. I hope
I'm
you're not as sweaty as I am after listening to that.
my nether regions are moist. Adam Levine's voice and delivery. I mean, come
Oh,
on,
they even make
dude.
the guitar sound sexy. Like they
It
got
is.
like they're muted strings, just kind of plucking them and just oh wow,
It's
that's
it's it oozes sex. Like this is as Barry White as it gets without it being Barry White.
they took like this 90s grunge kind of almost downer song and just turned it into a sex anthem for sure.
Yeah. Look, if all you youngins out there that are playing Fortnite, want to as Charlie will say, quote unquote, raw dog somebody, this is probably a good lead off track.
Yeah, give it a go, give it a play.
There is so much soul in this. When I read that Maroon 5 did this, I was thinking it was going to be like kind of a super pop and kind of I didn't know what to expect, but man,
Yeah.
it's not overly produced. It is a soul song through and through. You could hear it in a jazz club. You could hear it you could hear it at a
Hmm.
concert. There's so many places. And he has a soulful falsetto. Took
Yeah.
all the Nirvana and grunge out of it. I mean, for sure. There's none of
Yeah.
that left.
No, and and like you mentioned, like it's not a Maroon 5 song, but it
Yeah,
is. Like it's it sounds like them, but it doesn't sound like what you think of when you hear Maroon 5. Like
yeah,
when you listen to their popular songs or albums,
right.
like it's different and it's great.
Yeah, and from the first drum beats, I mean, that drum beat is behind the groove the whole time, so it's just sensual and sexy. The it's yeah, and it's weird too. By the way, if you listen to the song with headphones on really loud, um, there's actually an overdub or a vocal underneath Adam Levine's where it's just talking. and it adds this little touch of almost like a whisper, a careless whisper, if you will. Um, and it's interesting how they employed that to just give this back alley vibe. I mean, it just feels
Yeah,
very raw.
my yeah, raw dogging. So my headphones must, well, they're not as good as yours, but also maybe I didn't play it long enough because I didn't notice that track.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna have
it
to.
and it's interesting because it's almost, when people double track stuff, they try to make it exact to where you're always on the same thing. But here you'll hear it bleed off on certain ends of notes or ends of phrases. But
Okay.
it's just like somebody kind of talking it very softly or singing it much lower. But it's very, it again, when you
It's
hear it in the context of everything else, it
it's like
again
those
add.
hidden subliminal messages they put in, like when you're in the grocery store and you hear the music going. They're
Yeah,
supposedly like talking in the back that you can't really hear, but you hear, and it's like, don't steal, don't steal.
buy more Sally Suck Me Sticks.
Sensual sweets.
I'm gonna get it right by the end of this thing.
Yeah, that's a fun version. Like the you listen to the original version, it's not sexy.
No, no, it's almost like the when you hear them back to back, it almost like the original was trying to be sort of ironic or
Hmm.
sort of emotionless to a degree, right? Where this one is putting so much emotion into it and soul that it's this is a great yin and yang. This is, out of all the 10 that we've done so far, this is the one I think that is so different, and I honestly don't know which way I'm going to go here. I've been kind of going back and forth on it. So
Yeah, and hey, good. You just brought up episode number 10. 10.
10.
That's a landmark right there.
That's a
It's awesome.
milestone. I wish I had some sort of noisemaker to bing.
Oh,
Ah,
like this?
yeah, yeah.
Sorry, no decision has been made yet. That was a false alarm. There,
That was good.
that was really good. That sounded pure and beautiful. Why do you just have a wine glass down there?
I was drinking wine today
Okay.
because I was getting in the mood for listening to Adam Levine.
Oh, makes
So
sense.
yeah, I wore
Little
my nice underwear too. Actually, I didn't wear any underwear. So
little Cabernet. Are you Pooh Bearing it? Shirt, no pants.
no, it's how I
Uh,
work most days.
Before we get into any decision making, I also wanted to point out that I was surprised how many covers of this song there are out there.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah, so just putting it in on Spotify and searching Sex and Candy would just filter in the songs. I probably listened to, I don't know, a good 15 different versions over the past couple days.
Wow.
And I just wanted to point out some of the fun ones that I found that I would recommend you guys all check out. And if you haven't yet, Nick, you as well. One of them is from a band called Sloth Rust. Um,
Hmm. I
and
I
they're,
like them.
yeah, me too. I actually bought, so I discovered them because of this song and then found other songs and some of their originals. And I actually bought a couple vinyls. And they have a one album that's a cover. The whole thing is just covers. It's just like 6 songs, I think.
Nice.
Sex and Candy's on it. Got the vinyl for like $15.
Wow.
But so that's it's kind of like a dirty rock sound to it, like just grunge, not grunge, but like um, who is that band that was doesn't matter. But anyways, kind of dirty rock sound. And then Scary Pockets. We were texting about them earlier,
Oh
and I
yeah.
had yeah, and I had listened to their version of this. They do a shitload of covers with a bunch of special guests. They're a funk band. Um, really cool stuff, fun
Nice.
stuff. Reminds me a little of Wolfpack, who I
Oh yeah.
enjoy. Um, and then the last one I want to note, and this was probably one of my favorite covers I heard, you know, outside of Maroon 5 was Small Town Titans. And
Hmm.
they were like a power trio. And I think their version is like 5 minutes long, and they have like a minute long guitar solo jam session in the middle of the song.
Really
Yeah. So again, Small Town Titans. This is the only like I didn't listen to any of their other music, but I really enjoyed their version of Sex and Candy.
nice. I'm gonna have to listen to those.
I,
That's
I, I actually, now that I'm talking about it again, once we're done recording, I might just put that on just to kind of have a nightcap with that one
there
because
you go.
that was a fun one.
I dig it. I dig it.
But
All right.
I don't know if I have any other notes or anything else to say about it. This song,
Well, we're just proud today that, Marcy's Mama Maker Mocha's supported this channel.
yep, you got it that time. Good job.
There we go. Um, but yeah, I think it's decision time. I think it's time for the gong of decision. Is it am I up this time?
Yeah, you're up first.
Nice, nice. Marcy Playground, man, you nailed it with the nostalgia. Brought me back to back to my senior year of high school and how much fun it was. And obviously Marcy Playground wrote it. Um, the simplicity of the riff, I think, is fun, and how he
Hmm.
echoes the voiceover. You were spot on there. At times, again, as it's aged, I do feel like there's a little bit of forced irony or sort of melancholy in it that I'm kind of like, you know what, I wish it did a little more. But it's balanced really well. The songs, I mean, it holds up. I mean, it's one of the greatest, grunge songs, I guess, if you will. Or not
Hmm.
greatest. It's one of the most popular of all time. Maroon 5, gosh, they made this their own. I feel like this was a lot like the first episode with the Little Helps from Our Friends, where they kind of ripped up the script and said, let's just make this our own thing. Um, you know, I'll play it when I want sex or candy. I think that's the big key to this whole Valentine's episode, that if you want sex and candy, you got to do something for it. And but big knocks here. What's up with a minute long fade out?
Oh.
I think it's still fading out. You gotta just sometimes call it a day. And so yeah, I give him big knock for that. But when it's all said and done, I'm into Maroon 5. I in kind of a surprising move, because I thought they wouldn't have a chance. But yeah, I give it Maroon 5. So bang the gong. There you go.
Nice. Okay. Okay. You did throw a curveball there because I thought that fade out that's still going on was just going to take it away, but you said it well there. And I haven't noted here, basically that nostalgic charm from Marcy Playground, with that '90s alt rock vibe that we both grew up with, in our prime, in our teens. Um, I do really like the interpretation by Maroon 5, how they just made it extremely sexy and soulful and different in their own, but in making it their own, it's not like other Maroon 5 songs necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I also noted that I have knocks for the long fade out. The fade out is pretty sexy still though.
You should
And
probably be banging at that point. I
I know.
mean,
Yes, yes. It's everything's fully wet at that point, and um, gosh, I love the original. It's fun to listen to. I'll still listen to it from time to time, and even with the knocks of the long fade out, it's Maroon 5.
wow. I didn't see that coming.
I didn't
That's what
either.
she said.
I didn't either. I yeah, I didn't think we'd both be on Maroon 5, and also I didn't think I would pick Maroon 5. So
Yeah, I didn't think so at all. I didn't think you would for sure. but man, going back to the Prince, it's a sexy motherfucker. So
Hmm. In
and
fact, I actually listened to Kiss by Prince, after I listened to Sex and Candy so much, because that's another sexy song that I was just like, I gotta listen to that.
oh yeah, oh yeah.
But
Well, big shout out to Tammy's Titular Swizzle Sticks.
oh,
Or what? Do we got? Are we gonna go give it another punch?
nah. I mean, well, it's sensual sweets,
Oh
but
yes,
I do. I should have called it out earlier, but a couple weeks ago, went to a hockey game with a little holiday party for our company, and afterwards we went to a bar, and I ran into a guy. His name was Shane, and I ended up talking to him for like a half an hour about our podcast, and gave
nice,
him a sticker. And he was, I was pretty darn drunk, and but he was super cool listening to me, and he subscribed to the podcast right there, so hopefully he's still listening. So Shane, and Rain was the girl he was with.
nice.
um, if you're listening, appreciate your support. Any new listeners, especially from New Zealand, Sweden, and Israel, and anybody in the United States, I super appreciate you as well.
Yes. All right. Well, until next time. Let us
Yeah.
know what you think in the comments. Are you a Marcy Playground or a Maroon 5 fan on this? And let us know what you think there. And otherwise, we'll see you on the next episode.
Happy Valentine's Day.